Hi everyone, it's Thursday night, 8:30. It's time for GGGaming Gone Mad. It's been a hectic day on the sporting front, lots of World Cup cricket, of course, but perhaps more than that on Twitter, there's been plenty of action as well, with big news. News coming out that AB de Villiers made a late attempt to get into the World Cup squad, only to be turned down by Cricket South Africa. I'm looking forward to getting Gary Lentin's point of view on that one. Before you do anything else, if you are new to our show, whip down below the video and hit the subscribe button. We're going to be talking Cricket World Cup. I want to chat to Gary a little bit about the under-20s. And, of course, we'll talk Super Rugby as well. Gary is joining me down in Cape Town. Gary Lentin, good to have you back on the show.
Brent, how's it, my mate? How are things going with you?
Yeah, excellent, man. It's been a Cricket World Cup. A strange one for me, Gary. And I had very little enthusiasm, I must be honest, at the start. And, it's picked up quite a lot.
Yeah, no, it's been great, I think. And it's just building and building. It's going to continue to get good. There's just two things I want to mention, first of all. The first one is I got a WhatsApp from Zach, who watches, and he always gets disqualified from competition because he gives the answers that I've already told him. So he asked, is there a competition that he can enter in? And the answer, Zach, is yes, as long as you haven't seen the answer in my house or something. You know what I mean? He comes in visiting and he's looking at all types of things to get hints, you know? So as long as he doesn't know the answer, he can. That's point one. And point two, if you want to discuss the under-20s, I don't know which Gary you're going to discuss them with, but I haven't watched a single thing.
Well, I'll just tell you where I think. Yeah, no, I'll just give you my quick opinion then, Gary, on the under-20s, because I managed to catch quite a bit of it the other day. But first of all, on that note, talking about Zach, just to mention, thanks to all the boys tuning in on the live chat. We will have the regular competition for you. And share your views as well on this whole AB de Villiers saga, because, Gary, before we get into the Proteas performance and all the rest of it, the fact that we've lost our first three games, you saw the news, I would imagine, today that AB de Villiers had made a bit of a last-ditch effort to join the squad sort of 24 hours before it was announced. Cricket South Africa turning him down. And, of course, some of the public reacting like, what are we doing? We should have had AB there. But Cricket South Africa's statement, I think, was pretty clear. He was given every chance and he failed to take it.
Well, I mean, it's a very difficult one because at the end of the day, there are rules. And I've always said the rules have to apply to everybody. Otherwise, there's no point in having a rule. Whether it's a good rule or a bad rule, like Brent, it's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to what rules do you if you decide which rules you want to apply and which rules you don't, then you may as well have no rules at all, right? And they had criteria. You had to play X amount of games, whether it be provincial in South Africa or whether it be international for South Africa. He didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he had chances to. Why did he decide the day before? Give it 3 months, 6 months. Let them discuss it. He decided the day before. He called an emergency meeting with the coach, the captain. Obviously, he knew which way the captain was going to go and the coach, right? They know that they're a crap side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Superstar like AB. Obviously, they're going to say yes. They don't have to live with the consequences that Cricket South Africa would have had to live with. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, I would have loved to see AB there. You know what I mean? I would have laid more money on South Africa and I would have made more money because not even, I promise you now, they need more than AB. You know what I'm saying? But, it's an unfortunate situation and I think you have to stand by what Cricket South Africa's rules are and everything. And, to me, it's always just been a little bit against the grain, AB. You know what I'm saying? He's never really been a conformist. He's never really, I don't know, there's something about him that have always, to me, appeared a little bit different. I'm not saying good or bad, you know what I'm saying? But he had his opportunities. Yeah, he thought about it before he retired, he thought about it. Then he had another year to think about it, And I think he should count himself lucky. How these stories leak is pretty poor, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because now you're getting involved in moral issues that I don't think the public should always be involved in, Brent?
That's it. And just on that point, I see quite a bit of speculation, and we'll be speculating here because I guess we don't know the answer, in terms of how it would leak, because there's no way Cricket South Africa would want something like that leaking at this point. I think they've moved quite swiftly to sort of put the matter to bed, and I think they've done quite a big job. I mean, AB de Villiers, you wouldn't really think he would want it out because, or if he did, it's backfired tremendously because I think most of the public opinion's gone against him. So perhaps even someone from within the team, because I think the fact that the captain and the coach potentially wanted him to come back, I mean, that might be one of the reasons why the team looks to be nowhere at the moment, Gary.
Look, you know how horrible it must be sitting in the dressing room and you're a fringe player, whatever it is. I said fringe player. I didn't say anything about, you know what I mean, a player that on the fringe, whether he should be there or not, right, for whatever the reasons are. And you hear the captain. I'm not saying the captain did this, but you hear talking. I'll imagine we had AB, we wouldn't be in this position. There's nobody to come in at number 4. Imagine you, the number 4, how you feel, or it would have been great if I could have dropped him to 5 and you and AB came in at 4, would have had a more solid look. That doesn't build morale. That destroys morale. You know what I'm saying? And Faf can do and say what he likes, right? This is the lowest morale I've seen on any South African sports team for a long, long time. They can talk all the nonsense that they want to and blow it up and pretend that they have. You can just see, you know what I mean? You know, I know I'm talking a lot and not really giving you a chance, but we get, just so the guys know, we get paid per word. And I've had a tough getting it as much as I can. You know, people say they showed a little bit of steeliness in the last few overs against, who did they get beaten by the other day?
Was it the Bangladesh one or the most recent game? India.
Didn't show any steeliness. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the wicket was difficult. Whoever was bowling against India in those last few overs would have made it a little bit tougher than in the earlier games. You know, and they still got beaten by 6 wickets. Steeliness is what the Australians showed today.
Agreed.
Fight like absolute animals, you know what I'm saying, and get a result. Steeliness is not going in there and saying, oh, we could have lost by 10 wickets and we only lost by 6. Not bad. That's rubbish.
Well, the guys in the live chat seem to be in agreement. Steve Reed making the comment, that's cat smug. The political interfering could drive the Pope to drink. And fair enough, I think politics, I mean, we had the drama in the last World Cup of Philander being selected when he wasn't fully fit. Once again, politics here getting involved. Vin Naidu's comparing them to Manchester United, where some of the players potentially think they're bigger than the game. And I think that's a very good point as well. But Gary, quite an interesting one, because I was browsing your site. I see you've actually priced up on how many games are the Proteas going to win in this World Cup. And I just want to actually share my screen now as we talk through that, because that's quite an interesting market. Because what have we got? We've got 8 games, potentially 8 games left, but that's of course if we win the tournament.
Right. So basically, to win the tournament, I think I see they're about 40-1. While we've got 66-1, and remember, I had to do this really quickly today. You gave me the idea, and I jumped on it straight away, because they can win the tournament without winning 8 games. So that's why the 66-1 is a little bit bigger than the 40-1 they are to win it. You know, they can realistically get through with 5 wins, 1 loss in the group stages, and then they could also get through. Remember this is important. Winning all 6 games that they have left, tying the semi-final and winning the semi-final. No, if you win the semi-final, that would be good enough. If you win the semi-final in a super over, that would be good enough, Brent? We would count it as a win. But if you get a tie in the group stages and only get a point, that would not count as a win.
Right, fair enough. So how many outright wins they're going to have, including super overs if necessary? Exactly. So let's have a look right at the top there, Gary. And I imagine you might get a little bit of interest in this, and that is 0. Because
Afghanistan, right? And you'd think that they're going to get a result there. I mean, let's go through it. We've got a couple of minutes.
I've got the fixtures here, Gary. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger so the guys can watch. So here we go. We got our first game is against the West Indies. Now, I was on your site. I don't know if it's changed since the Australia game, but I see you've got South Africa slight favourites there against the West Indies.
You know, I don't see. You know, remember something. These markets are getting run by these huge corporations.
No, agreed. Yes, that's not your opinion.
Yeah, my opinion is that the West Indies deserve to be favourites in that game. There's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? They're a decent outfit. You know what I mean? And even when they play badly, they can destroy you because they got batsmen there that won't let you off if they get in. You know what I'm saying? The truth is, if I said to you, Gayle got 140 in 80 balls, you wouldn't think it's mad. You know what I'm saying? There's Hope. There's Holder who can get runs. And then obviously there's Russell that can destroy any attack. Doesn't matter how good they are, right? So my money, I'd far rather be taking even money the West Indies and South Africa if it was, you know what I mean, no juice in it, right? So that game either way, right? South Africa, Afghanistan, you got to think that we'll beat Afghanistan, right? You really do, you know? South Africa, New Zealand, another close game. Funny enough, in that game, I think South Africa got a better chance against New Zealand than they do against the West Indies, but another pick-em game, right? So far we've got 3 games of which we've only got 1 real certainty. South Africa, Pakistan, pick-em game, isn't it, hey, Brent? You can't say that.
It is. I mean, if both teams play to their best, I'd say Pakistan will win that game, Gary.
Exactly. And so really, the only 2 that I think we got really good chances against are Afghanistan and Sri Lanka. And now you've got to say, right, that's where we are. 2 games. How many do I add on to the 2? Do I add 1 for the West Indies or 1 for Pakistan or 1 for... I'll be honest with you. 2's a runner, hey, Brent?
2's a big runner. So let's go back to your prices there. Just before I go to the prices, Gary, I just want to mention the competition for the guys in the live chat. What I want to know, and we're going to talk South Africa West Indies game, and we'll get a feel for how the boys are thinking on this one. This is for the 500 Rand voucher. I want to know who's going to win the game and who's going to get man of the match. And then the person who gets that correct will win the voucher. But we'll also, just in case, because I wouldn't imagine there are that many candidates for man of the match. So also put in the total runs in the game. And if there's two people with the same selection, then we'll use that as a tiebreaker. So who's going to win the game, South Africa versus West Indies? Who's going to be man of the match? And then let's see how many runs in total are going to be scored in that one. So you guys can get going on that now. Let's pop back to the betting there, Gary. And you said 2's a big runner, and that's 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not betting to huge percentages here. That I promise you. I went through it with Dave today. I mean, this is pretty reasonable betting, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, sure, 7 looks unlikely. 6 doesn't look like it's that much of a runner. 5, they're going to have to play really well, won't they, Brent, to win 5 more games. Sure, and then you can still get screwed that they win 6, you know what I mean, if they qualify, you know?
Yes.
But they may not qualify with 5. To me, the 3 favourites are worthy favourites. I priced it up at everything, you know what I'm saying? So, obviously, with Dave. But, yeah, to me, I would take my chances between 3 and 4 and see where it goes, you know? Or 2 and 3.
I do think if we are going to look for an outsider in this market, I think 1. I think one is, for me, 1 is, if I had to compare, if I'd rather take the 8-1 1 than the 5-1, than the 10-1 5.
Definitely. And you can get luck with rain, eh, Brent? The truth
yes, that's true.
You can easily get rained out against Afghanistan or Sri Lanka and everything, you know what I mean? And then you in the pound seat with 1, huh?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. Well, I look forward to hearing what sort of support you get in that market, Gary, because I think it's going to be, I think you're going to get a lot. I think you've priced it up correctly, but I'm not with you on the Afghanistan South African game. I actually don't make that a gimme. I've been watching a bit of Afghanistan. Look, they butchered things against Sri Lanka, but they were quite impressive in their opener. And I actually think Afghanistan, if we don't perform to our best, Afghanistan could beat us.
They can. To me, I think Rashid's one of the best bowlers in the world. I really do. But have they got the self-belief to win a game? You know what I'm saying, Brent? That's what I'm not sure about. You know, maybe they do. I just think that when the going gets tough, whether they're batting or fielding, right? When the going gets tough, they won't have the belief that they can beat South Africa. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean South Africa can't implode. I mean, that's quite likely as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the truth. But I don't know. I think we'll be. We're not guaranteed. It's not as though it's like we're playing the UAE when we had Donald and, you know what I mean, Callis and you know what I mean, Cronje and all those guys that you knew were going to get runs. You know what I mean? And AB was actually playing and not sending emails. You know what I mean? That was, but that was a better side. You knew then 1-50, whatever was a good price. Yeah, can't take 1-30, 1-6 South Africa against anybody.
Well, I'm just looking at some of the selections that have come in here, and I guess this is what you bookmakers love. There's a lot of patriotic people out there, Gary, who will back the Proteas no matter what the situation. So I'd say we've got about a fairly even split now at the moment in terms of Proteas South Africa. And as a bookmaker, as I say, you'll be more than happy to lay the sort of 17-20 Proteas.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? If the guy phone, I'm prepared. What I'm prepared to do, Brent, anything from 5 and above.
Right.
I'll give the guys that are watching the show half their stake back in a free bet if they
lose. If they back the Proteas to win 5 or more, half your stake back as a free bet.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We'll see if you get any takers for that. I must say, I'll be looking. I'm eyeing out the 8-1 that they win one game. I just feel we're at such a bad place, and I don't feel any of the other teams are that. I mean, yes, we were upset about the loss to Bangladesh. There was no passion, but the reality is Bangladesh have come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. I mean, the day of them being total upsets is gone now, and they were probably realistically. I didn't back it. It was one of those games I wasn't involved in from a betting front. But if I'd got involved at the start, I think on pure value, I would have backed Bangladesh in that game. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I really thought they were big runners. I mean, I remember looking early in the week after they lost the first game to England and saying they're not. We might have even discussed it on the show, Brent. They're not 1-4 shots, you know, against Bangladesh. I mean, that's the truth. And I'll tell you something. More Bangladeshians or whatever you call them. I don't know. It's I don't know, whatever. Go and play RPL. They'll become a decent cricketing nation one day. RPL, to me, is where you build a foundation of good 50-over sides. You know what I'm saying? Where you learn about pressure and stress. You know what I'm saying, Brent? About, you know what I mean? in playing with injuries and recovering quickly. You know what I'm saying? And if more Bangladeshis go and play RPL, I tell you in 4 years' time, they'll be ahead of South Africa in the betting.
I can well see that. I can well see that as well, Gary. Now, listen, I know you've done a lot of preparation on the Under-20 Rugby World Cup, so I'm just going to hand straight over to you there.
No,
but
look, they were deadly against Scotland, right?
Sorry?
They were deadly against Scotland. That's the only thing I've watched.
Yes, they were. They were. You know what, Gary? It was a big handicap. They just beat the handicap. There were impressive parts about South Africa's game there, but Scotland came bottom of the Under-26 nations. So I think, for me, I wouldn't read too much into that. I think the big game of this round is Ireland up against Australia. So the way this jolly tournament works is because it's based on previous seedings, you've got a situation where you've got Ireland, Australia, and England all in the same group. And it's very difficult. There's the top team in each group goes forward, and then just one other team goes to the semis. So it means a team like England, who's lost to Ireland's got it all to do now. And Australia were quite impressive in beating Italy on the handicap in their opener. They beat the -17, but they defended for long periods, and Italy just didn't have anything in attack. And I have seen prices of about 7 to 10 Ireland, and I personally handicapped this game at -7.5 points Ireland. So I think when you guys, it'll be interesting to see what you got. But I think Ireland are going to be. I think Ireland are going to secure top spot in the group with a win over Australia. Okay,
I'm going to listen to you on that because, like I said, I have absolutely no knowledge about it. You know, I thought they were good, and I mean, I don't know what the opposition were like. So I'm going to bow to your superior knowledge, and I'm going to have a bet on Ireland. I think that's a good idea.
Have a go on Ireland there. But let's go into something that you certainly do have a lot of knowledge on, and that's, of course, is Super Rugby. A full house of fixtures this weekend. It's our second last weekend where we'll be able to talk about sort of 6 or 7 fixtures in a weekend. And look, a lot of the conferences, I mean, the New Zealand conference, you'd have to say, is settled. Brumby certainly looking control of the South African one. I'm sorry, the Australian, and the Huggiaris of the South African. Yeah. But the remaining playoff spots, lots up for grabs this weekend.
Hell of a lot. I mean, it's another good weekend of rugby, you know what I'm saying, where competitiveness, and there are a few, there are a few teams that think they got chances of qualifying if things go their way with other sides and everything. But, their destiny is not in their own hands. And for those teams, I think they're going to miss, I think that there are a few things I do like this weekend. There really are, hey, Brent. And, there are 2 sides that I'm going to oppose and see where we go.
Right. What are you thinking in terms of which sides are you looking to oppose?
Let me tell you about the second team that I'm going to oppose and what the situation is. And I won't mention it. There's a guy who's an exceptionally smart punter, brilliant punter, right? And he's gone and he's built a...
Does he run a website?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, just checking.
No, he doesn't. And he doesn't do Thursday shows. He's a great punter, whether it be horses or sport or whatever. He's really knowledgeable. That's all he does. He doesn't have a day job.
Right.
And he went and built a computer system for Super Rugby.
Okay.
That was hugely successful. But like you said to me, he never won that much money because his system didn't like one team, and that team kept doing well. And he lost a lot of money early on. He said, but now that team's falling apart, and the system is now starting to really pull away. And that team is the Rebels.
Oh, really, eh?
He's opposed the Rebels, and he used to get a few black eyes. Now he says that's starting to come right. So, I'm going to oppose the Rebels here. I'm going to go with the Crusaders. I know 20 looks like a lot, but I think they can get the 20. I know talk about rests and this and that. What are the Rebels really ugly?
Yeah, they've fallen apart, the Rebels, there's no doubt. And they don't they have in theory got a playoff spot to play for, but it's a long shot.
Exactly.
They're going to make the playoffs now. And I agree with you there on the Crusaders. In fact, what I like there, Gary, is the halftime handicap Crusaders.
What is it?
Because I think the Crusaders are going to come out and get the job done. I must tell you, last week, I was having a cracking weekend, and I had 2 nice bets riding onto the Crusaders-Chiefs game. I had the Crusaders to win by 10 or more, and I had the Crusaders to score 32 points. I went over 31.5. I was cruising. After 30 minutes, 20-0 up. I was already plotting my next bets. Yeah. Can you believe the way the Chiefs came back and won that game?
We laid a lot of Crusaders, and I went and had a shower and everything. And I have a glass shower specifically so I can watch what's happening on TV. And I didn't even bother. I didn't even bother. I thought, what do I want to punish myself for? You know what I mean? It was torturous. And I walked out of the shower, It was a different game. It's hard to believe. You never see them doing that, you know. I don't think they'll fall into the same sort of like lackadaisical problems again. I see -9 with a tie, you lose half-time. Yeah, and what about almost 3-10 half-time, full-time, Brent? I mean,
yeah, that's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad if you want to add that to an acca or something. Sorry, Gary, I'm still trying to get the picture of your glass shower and you in it out of my mind.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I also don't like the thought of it, but that's the way it is. But it's a terrible thought. I don't have to look at
what's your other punt then on the weekend, and we'll pick a cert amongst them.
I'm going to go against the Bulls.
Okay.
I just think they can't keep patching things together. I don't know. Like I said, I thought last week they were going to get a Harding, and you know, I'm going to just one more chance to beat them by give them a Harding. That's me, you know.
Right. What's the handicap there? About -9.5 Highlanders.
We 10.5, the highest ever. So that's, you know what I mean, not ever, the highest in the market. So we're really pushing people towards the plus. You know what I'm saying? 9-10 plus 10.5 the Bulls. I am looking for business there. We are open for business. Yeah, and I think that, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm going to oppose the Bulls and I'm going to oppose the Rebels.
Okay, opposing the Bulls. Which would you say is your best bet, opposing the Bulls?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to go with that one.
Okay. And just quickly, Gary, to touch on the tennis, we got the men's in particular is going to be interesting. We've got the 4 top seeds, I think, have all gone through.
Have they? I'm not sure. Yeah, they have.
I'll double check that. I know that Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer were the top 3. I'm not sure if TM was the 4th seed or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he is. You're 100% correct. Look, they're certainly the 4 best players there. It's unlike the women, where they play well one week and one day and poorly the next day. Can I just ask you a question without being controversial, right? Something that I was watching the other day. I was watching a round of 16, 2 women who I've never heard of, right?
Yes.
Watching the round of 16. And they hitting these moon balls and they're grunting and everything and they're carrying on, and it's just a complete mess, okay? It has an entertainment value of 1, right?
Right.
I thought, you know what? All this fight for equality of pay, it's all very well when Steffi Graf is playing Martina Hingis or Sharapova playing Serena Williams, you know what I'm saying? Or Osaka's playing. But is it really fair in rounds of 16 where these women haven't got the talent of number 250 in the world, in my opinion, right? They're playing the best of 3 sets. They're playing to crowds of a third of the stadium's full. You know what I'm saying, hey, Brent? And I don't want to be controversial, but I just feel sorry for the guys out there, not for Nadal, who's earned $120 million, right? But for the guys, whoever stands up for the guys out there that are grinding at 120 in the world. You know what I'm saying, hey, Brent?
I can see you not on Twitter. There are not many people who stand up for those guys. But Gary, I take your point. I'm gonna bring the show to an end because I've just noticed the time and I've got to do my rugby show at 9 o'clock. But I think that would actually make an interesting show in itself one day, because I share your views on that. You know, I've got no problem with the top ladies who draw the crowds winning that money, but the depth in ladies, I suppose, the depth in ladies tennis, you'd say on one hand isn't there, but then on the other hand, you look at ladies who could win Grand Slams. There's probably 15 of them. When it's in the men, maybe there are only 4 who can win it. But I take your point and I agree with you.
Give the top prizes equal to the men, but lower down.
Yes.
Anyway, right. So do we have to do anything else to close the show off there?
Well, let's do a beat the cert. We'll do your Highlanders -10.5. And guys, what I want from you on Twitter, hashtag GGGaming gone mad and at Brent Graham, is who's going to win the final of the French Open and how many games in total there will be. And if Gary's bet the Highlanders loses, then we'll have that R1,000 beat the cert voucher on Twitter.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do as well, Brent, just for a little bit of fun.
Sure.
If the Crusaders don't win half-time, full-time,
okay,
right, I'll shave half my beard off and walk around like that for a week, okay? And I'm not talking down. I'll shave that half off there, okay? Is that fair enough?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Look forward to that one, Gary. Gary, thanks very much for joining us. We're going to be going straight into the rugby show. We've got a first-time guest speaking to us from Zurich tonight, a very shrewd punter who's been on the Good for the Game forum a while, so looking forward to that. But thanks very much for joining us, and thanks also to all the lads in the live chat. We'll see you in about 4 minutes for the handicap rugby chat that matters. Cheers, Gary.
Cheers.
Cheers.